Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to AJ's Trip's Video Game Talk. This is the Madden 25 review for the PlayStation 5. Now, if you hear some noise in the background, that may be my phone. One of my phones is, I guess it's updating, so it's doing some things, and the notifications are coming up. And so, if you hear that noise, just try to ignore it and focus on what we're talking about here. This is Madden 25 review. I was one of the many people that was excited about Madden 25 for a couple reasons. I was excited because um, I played the beta. I had the opportunity to play the beta. I believe I can tell you that now, as the real game was come out. So I think I can tell you that I played the beta, and I enjoyed what I saw from the beta. I thought there were some great things. I love some of the other things that they had when I played the beta. First thing I noticed was that when you broke off a run, the running back would be looking back, or the runner would be looking back, looking over his shoulder to see if someone's coming from behind them to catch him, like you see in the real life with a lot of guys. And I love that. Um, I also saw that some of the signature styles that we've heard about having from each some players were in there. Because one of the first things I did when I played the beta is I played Kansas City against the Bears, and you could see not only could you see Patrick Mahomes. If you ever noticed when you watch the Patrick Mahomes game, when or Kansas City Chiefs game, when Patrick Mahomes is trying to get the play from Andy Reid, he does this thing really weird where he puts like his arm up and it's like this or it's like this or something like that, and his this it's you know it when you see it. It's just weird. And when you play with Kansas City Chiefs on the game or against Kansas City Chiefs on the game, in between plays, when Patrick Mahomes is trying to get the play, you see that thing that Patrick Mahomes does, and it's very funny. Also, Isaiah Pacheco. We always talk about with Isaiah Pacheco that um he looks like his running style looks like he's stomping on the ground, trying to hurt the ground for some reason. They've got that in there. They've got other signature styles from running backs, receivers, I think mostly quarterbacks, but they're all in there and things like that. So it's very, you saw that. I think that very great, very understanding. So when you played the beta, you just thought, wow, this is gonna be great. This is great. A lot of upgrades, good upgrades. Um, you saw that there was some upgrades from other ones that were, you know, as well. The gameplay felt better. There's all this talk about the boom technology and the physics, thing where of tackling, where it would try to be as realistic as possible. And on one hand, I understand that, and that's great. Um, but I also felt like that also doesn't help a lot because if you go and you tackle somebody, you should just be able to tackle somebody. And there's a lot of things out there where you can't tackle them for some reason, and you'll have a good tackle, and he'll just get out of it somehow, and it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. And I think another reason why some of us were great about we were positive about man was we saw College Football 25. Now, College Football 25 isn't necessarily a perfect game. I gave it a 4.5 star rating, just because of I had never played a college football game in a long time. When I did it, it was on like back on the PlayStation 2. So all the new stuff, the things that you saw, I saw things like that, and it was just a fun game to play, and that's great. And that's always that is always going to be a fun game to play. Madden is always a fun game to play. But man, once again, just would not fix these things to make the games better. And yes, it's us. It's us, the people who buy the games, because we can't seem to not buy the game. I know I never know I can't. We can't seem to not buy the game each year. Um, so that we don't, because we want to get all of the other stuff. We want to get obviously the new features. We want to get this. We want to get that, and things like that. And but the one thing that they they have decided not to do is because of the MUT. They not only do they make the game binary, but they make the game by so many people buying the stuff from MUT that it's understandable as of why would you want to why should we change the game? Why should we try to make this game better? Why should we this and that? And I think I totally get that, you know. And listen, I don't think that it's a thing where they need to, give up their exclusive rights. I like the fact that Madden is the only football game out there. I like it. I like it for two reasons. One, that means that I don't have to buy another game to try to see which game is better. Uh, I like that one. Although I've always said, especially in this new era, in this upgraded era, I would love to see Tecmo Super Bowl type game for the PlayStation 5. Like, how would they do that? How would they make a new Tecmo Super Bowl? And I would love to see that. And I wanted to see it. And I wanted to see like how it would fit, how it would do. I actually know like a while ago, Tecmo did make a football game. I believe for like the PlayStation and Xbox and things like that. But it was all generic teams and generic names and things like that. And I never played it or anything like that. But I wanted to see this again. That's the only reason why I would want Madden to lose its exclusivity is for Tecmo Super Bowl to maybe try and make a game. But with that said, uh, that actually might be the thing that it does need to to actually like listen to the people you know who play the damn game. 'Cause I don't think they listen to it. I don't know for how many years have I been doing this online video now. I am a very 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 small creator with no name or no anything like that. So I don't think that would even be they would even like listen to me. They're gonna listen to all the other big name video game players and things like that that puts out like reviews things like that if they were going to listen to them. But even then, those creators they're not, I don't know if they are trying to do anything as well like with the deepness or anything like that. They're just they're mostly talking about the bugs in the game and things like that, and on one hand, I can understand that. On the other hand, I don't know if the bugs are the things. Where the ball glitches and you throw it and then it goes all the way back and it's intercepted 50 yards away from where you throw it or something like that. Yeah, I think all video games are gonna have some type of those bugs and things like that. Although they do get frustrating that those type of things would happen. Um, even still, I would go to the to the forums where there's I guess they're supposed to listen and put things down, and and I just don't know if they just like they just don't they don't listen to nothing. They don't listen to nobody anything says unless it has to somehow if something's gonna fuck with the mutt. Because I've been on the thing, and a lot of people are talking about like the custom playbooks, and they create their custom playbooks, and they put their custom playbooks in for the for the head-to-head stuff on Madden, which is like again part of the MUT stuff, and I'm sure they're gonna fix that because that's what again that's part of the MUT, and they want people to play the MUT, spend the extra much money, the microtransactions as it's called. However, the custom playbooks should also be fixed for other use. Like, why are we having to use other playbooks to start our playbook? Now, if you want to do that, you should be able to fine. But why can't we create our custom playbook from scratch? Select the plays that the nations, the plays that we want. Let's go even deeper. Let's start like do you want to like run or not kind of crazy offense? Do you want to run a one back, two tight end offense, 12 personnel? Can we select that so that then you can select those plays first before you fill out the rest of your playbook? Things like that. Or if you are going to start, this is what I try to do. I try to create a playbook and just get rid of all the plays. I removed all of the plays, added the plays that I wanted from each formation, things like that, and I couldn't do it because I had to start the game plan. What the fuck is this in the game? What, uh, uh, get rid of this. Why should we have to start a game? Why do I need a fucking game plan? Yeah, if I don't want one, just get rid of the game plan. Or we have this new technology out there called AI, right? Why not use the AI technology, to like create your own to create game plan for your customer. Let it go through. They got all the plays, and then let the AI do the fucking game plan. Although I have to personally do, and the way they do it is fucking ridiculous. Anyway, it's like a star rating. And if it's first down, when you star five up to 5 stars, that is so fucking stupid. It is so fucking stupid. Either get rid of the game plan or let AI come up with the game plan for you. I personally would actually to get rid of the game plan. Because they would fuck that up too. And the plays on first down would be all the goal line plays. So it's ridiculous. Custom look, and then like when you do create a custom playbook, you can't you know bring it in the franchise. That's why other than the fucking mud stuff, other people are creating playbooks because they're doing franchise mode. Why can't we take this fucking created playbook into franchise mode? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous the way they do this shit, and it is frustrating. It is frustrating. Now, immediately, this game it has a new look. It has a new feel. Not only the gameplay, but some of the other things. I love the way that they open, the game, with almost like a real style presentation. I love the way that they've gone to the ESPN style of presentation where everything's down at the bottom, the chyron for like the scores and the teams and down in distance and things like that. I love that. It's not on the top of the screen. I love the fact that they've also gone to other announced teams, which I think is a great too. I think it's great too. I do wonder, like, when you go into franchise mode, what is the deal? Because I was thinking it was kind of going to be like college football, where you get Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, and David Pollock for for most of the games, but the game of the week, you know, or national games and like that, that's when you get Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. So I was kind of expecting that if you get like a Monday night game or a Sunday night game or a Monday night, Sunday night, or Thursday night game, you'd get Brendan, the number one team, Charles Davis and Brandon Gardner. But I played a Thursday night game and I got Kate Moss and Damon Hewitt, which I don't mind. I don't mind, but it's kind of weird. I thought they would have that type of hierarchy as that. Um, I think, and I think all three broadcast teams of Kate Moss, David Hewitt, Mike Tirico, Greg Olson, and of course Charles Davis and Brendan Gordon are good. I think they're good. I think it kind of flows. One of the things I said in my college football review that I kind of thought the commentary was kind of repetitive. It was kind of um, not put in the exact thing where you could tell, especially with the update with Kevin Connors, you know, kind of felt like Kevin Connors would go, there's something shaking at you know SoFi Stadium. The USC Trojans are way behind in their game. The quarterback is not. It was this very very thing. So I wanted them to be like, I wanted it to not only try to make it more blending, but also be more like things like say the goddamn name, say some names, you know. Um, and the commentary I think is a lot better here on kind of football with all three guys, and I do hope there's as one of the things that Matt Knowles would say that they would update the commentary to let you know what was going on, kind of in the season and updates and things like that. So I hope they continue to do that with the commentators. Um, so that's something that I think that I enjoy. And I love the new look of like the menu. So like if you go to the menu, it's now more I won't say smaller. I don't know how to explain it, but if you remember like even from Madden 24, you still got it, go back and look at it. You can see like the menu was like really big, so you couldn't see everything, and you couldn't see it like on the screen. And now if you take like if you just look at your roster, there's already more people that you can see on your roster from the beginning than you can on Madden 24. So I like that. I like how it's streamlined like that for people on your roster, for your desktop, for the stats as well. You can check out the stats. There's more people that you can see in each statistical category. So I think that's great. I love that. Um, I think um, a new look is was needed. I also love like in franchise mode when you go to the hub, they've got they brought back the ability to do your goals from there, which I love. Because last year you had to go into you had to go into the staff, manage staff, and then select, team goals. You don't have to do that this year. You can just, you can go to a certain part of because when you got franchise mode hub, you can move the thing and it goes from like the matchups, showing you like what they are defensively and offensively, both teams. And then you can take it to like a leaderboard of stats. You can take it to a leaderboard of the standings, and then you can take it to the goals for the week. You can press triangle and you can change those goals so that if you want them to stay that, you know, we win by 17 points and or more, and you do that goal, then you'll get 10 points that goes to your tree for the staff. So they have that. So they brought that back, which I thought was good. And a good one from 23. They need to go to 24. I wish they would bring back the fantasy draft thing so that when you're doing a fantasy draft in franchise mode, you could um you could what I'm trying to say uh so that you could change like what you want to do so that if you want to draft a team by scheme, but you want to change the scheme, you could do that. So so that if you select the Kansas City Chiefs and you see that they run a base 4-3, but you want to run a 3-4 disguise defense, and you can do that. And then once you go to fantasy draft, you could draft, um, the 3-4, the guys that would fit into your defense on the 3-4 and 3-4, because they would tell you that little pink notification would be there, to let you know that he fits your scheme. Speaking of draft, we've probably seen this on like in some of the videos that Madden put out. The draft is kind of is different. First of all, when you do a fantasy draft, you can now stop with the whole like rotation thing, because it would do I forget what it's called. I forget the type of name that it's called. Maybe it's the snake thing, where if you had the first pick in the fantasy draft, then round two you have to have the 32nd pick. And those kind of reasons. I don't I necessarily didn't like that type of way of doing it. But now you can do it standard. So that if you get the first pick, you get the first pick in all 54 rounds of the draft. How many rounds they do? The fantasy draft. So that's great. Um, that's the presentation. Now, uh, there were some. I remember. I remember doing the thing, and it doesn't do it all the time. It's not consistent in fantasy draft. And I don't think I don't think it's consistent in the when you do like when you go through a franchise mode and you go to the NFL draft. It's not consistent there either. You don't always see the Roger Goodell. Because there were times when I would try to do a pick, it was like at the beginning of the game when I wanted to see it, I wanted to like go through and see all of the things. I just wanted to check everything out before I just like review so that I would know. And I would do it because some seasons and you wouldn't see Roger Goodell, but then I did one season where it was Roger Goodell, and then like you saw like the draft picks and you saw like I was doing it to the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Dolphins would be up there. Mike McDaniel would be up there clapping at the draft pick and things like that, even into like the fourth and fifth round. So um, that's kind of uneven. It's a new feature, although you don't see it all the time. It's something that I think is I wish could be fixed. Something I've seen about the gameplay, um, like the quarterback claps when it gets down to when you get in the red. He starts as soon as he wants the ball. He wants you to hike the ball. So I like that. I like that little attention to detail. I think every quarterback does it, as you get down to the time gets down, they start clapping because they want the ball. So I think that is good. One of the things I talked about in my college football review, and one of the things I keep referring back to it, is because for the most part, the getting play and things like that, it should be the same. It shouldn't be two different games in effect of the thing. One of the things that people were worried about was college football 25 was just going to be a Madden skin. And I think one of the things I said in my review, and I'll say it here as well, is that in some ways it has to be a skin because it's football and it's football, the way football is played, and it comes from the same thing. So it shouldn't be different. Like it shouldn't look different or anything like or play differently. Like you can tell that the way the game is played on a college football it's very close to when you play the game on Madden. They've got the things about the boom technology. College football calls it something else, and they've got that dynamic tackling shit. They've changed the kickoff thing, which by the way I had to go ahead and fold because you can't do it on college football 25. So, they don't have the things. They just got the kicking meter, but on Madden 25 you can choose if you want the new kickoff thing or the old kickoff thing where they had like the thing where you could see. Well, you could try to see where the ball was going to land, but I'm now so used to doing the thing where you press and then you hold the power that I knew I was gonna fuck it up, and I tried it when I got it, and yes, I was fucking up. So I had to go to the new kicking thing, so that's I hope another thing there. I can stay with the classic passing mode, which that's the least thing. But one of the things I talked about was that they had two things. They had a no huddle offense and and a turbo offense, like you wanted to go fast. And one of the things that I said was that you know if you're doing a no huddle offense, you could bring up the plays in that formation. Meaning that if you did a no huddle offense and it was shotgun, then you could go back and choose all of the things from shotgun to use at this. Um, um, but if you were doing a turbo offense, then you can only do plays from that play. So if you were doing shotgun doubles wide flex, then you could only choose from that certain from that play sheet. Doubles flex. You couldn't go to empty or anything like that. But in no huddle mode, you could go to empty. And that's one of the things I see is when you do a no huddle, it brings up those plays so that you can do that. You can go from different parts of the thing to change your plays and change your looks and things like that, which I love. I think that's a pro to Madden 25. So I did like that. It just doesn't come up as an audible. You actually choose a play from a playbook. Both these games, Madden and College Football 25, they've got a real big problem with the whole thing, and it started with this progressive fatigue thing, which was a good idea. I kind of liked it. I thought maybe it was a good idea. And then like you could change like the progressive fatigue so that you could change it like in the settings so that they would fatigue faster, or maybe they would fatigue slower, whatever, however you want to choose it, right? However, one of the things that I've seen that I think just absolutely it pisses me off is that because of that, you can't really fuck with anything, try to make it almost kind of realistic in some sort of way, or try to make it even better. Like I had the progressive fatigue on, and I actually didn't change the skill. I kept it at 50, but I had progressive fatigue on, and then I did the thing where I had did auto subs. I changed my auto subs. So I changed it up. I wanted to have the auto subs for my halfback or my right receivers or my fullback and tight ends, that I wanted to have them sub in when they were 100, when they were fresh. And then I did some other things. They'd be like, sub them out when they got to 80, or sub them out when they got to 85 or 90, depending on you know the position. I want to do that for my D line too. I wanted to have that happen for my D line. But as I started to play, once again the shit was happening where my running back or my receiver or my defensive end would sub out and then just be out for the rest of the game. And you check to see if he's injured. No, he's not injured. And then you check the depth chart, still the number one person in that thing, but he's just not coming back in for some fucking reason. And it's just been the problem for like the past 3 years that they brought in rest fatigue. Well, your running back would just sub out for no fucking reason. And and you really see it like on short weeks. Play on Sunday, you come back on Thursday, and then it's just gone. And it's like it's been like that for 3 years. Fix the fucking thing. Fix it so that it's thing, or get rid of it or whatever. But they refuse to do so. Again, another thing they refuse to fix. Another thing they refuse to do is like make your created players available when you update the roster. And I don't know how many times I've said this. I've put it in my reviews. I've put it on the EA forums. They update the rosters. They update the rosters every week, right? I think they're usually on a Friday they'll update the rosters, which is great. That's great. That's wonderful. And if people get injured, at an injury, or if the people have played better, they're upgrade their ranking or their rating. All of that is fine. All of that is great. Um, but there are some of us, and I think I don't think I'm alone. I will say that I think I'm in a very small minority, although that may change now with the advent of Team Builder. That may change, but I create about 15, players, including myself, to play with in the game, and I put them on different teams. Which, by the way, for some freaking reason, I hope they patch this out by the start of the season. But you create a player and play it past, you can put them on any team. Now, for some reason, they've locked it so that you can only create it to your favorite team. Why the fuck would you do that? See, there are things that you need to fuck with. There are things that you don't need to fuck with. And that was one of the things you didn't need to fuck with. Was locking the player to the team. All you need to do was add a spot where you could save your created players so that when you do update the rosters, you can just put them back onto teams. It's easy. Just look at what NBA 2K does. On NBA 2K, it's the same thing with them. They update the rosters maybe like once every 2 to 3 weeks, something like that. Add ratings, they add injuries, things like that. So and they create players, and when you can create players just like every sports game can. But what they do is that they put them in like a little bit of in a little thing where they can stay, so that when they update the rosters, you can add your creative players back onto the teams that you had. You can add them to the free agent page. You can put them on the the exact team that you had them on, whatever. And it's so easy, and it's so easily so wonderful, and it's just a joy. And you can also edit the players from that spot as well. So easy, so wonderful. And but for Madden, you create the players, you just create them. So that if you update the roster, you want to play with updated roster, you have to create the player over and over again, and it's ridiculous, and that's not how it should be done. It's a small gripe, but I think it's an easy fix. Just give us that. Again, I may be in the minority of that, but when I put that in there for the beta, well, the beta, they gave us the beta form to talk about what you wanted to see in the beta form. I had a couple of people give me XP and thumbs up for that comment. In one reply, they said, "Yeah, I can understand that. You could, have. It would be nice to have another place where you could put your created player in." But for some fucking reason, they just wouldn't. So I don't know. I've had trouble. Again, I think this is another thing that will happen with an updated patch. But I've had trouble downloading and saving the draft classes that the online creators create. Like when they go into franchise mode, I can't load them up. So I don't know what. Again, I think that's something that's a patch. But again, that would be something that you would like to have not you know not not work at lunchtime. At lunchtime, that should be something that should not that shouldn't it should be just bam, it works. I have no idea why. In franchise mode, and again, there's another thing that I said in during the beta. Again, they didn't listen in during the beta for me. You know, I said that the passing stats and the kick return stats are enough. They do have the new NFL kickoff in the game. They do have that. But I guess because of what happened last year with everything like that, where 22% of kickoffs were returned, you can go through a whole season and you you're the only one that has like kick return stats. Everybody else has like 3 returns, 4 returns because I guess they're all kicking it out of the end zone. And it's ridiculous. And we know that this is a passing league, right? We know that this is a passing league, and if you play 17 games, as most most of the good to great quarterbacks are going to throw for at least 4,000 yards, right? And those quarterbacks are going to throw for 4,000 yards. I did this for beta. I did this not only for the beta, but for when the launch came, the early launch. I got the thing early access. I simulated things like that. Wanted to see. We had like 3 or 4 guys throwing for 4,000 yards. Why are you nerfing the passing stats? The last, I don't know, healthy guys played all 17 games. I think the last time we had something where we had quarterbacks that didn't throw for like over 4,000 yards. It must have been like a decade where we didn't have like 6 or 7 guys. We averaged like 6 or 7 guys a year throw for 4,000 yards, and why we only getting 3. So I was, I don't know, they're nerfing the passing stats for some reason. I don't know why. Again, this is another thing where you could, say, this could easily be fixed with a patch. But again, you would think that on the launch day it would make sense and they would be ready and when you do this. But when you do the halftime thing with the coach, which I always think has been this is an interesting part of the franchise mode. stuff. He goes around and talks about the games. Sometimes you'll get a map, sometimes you won't get a map. A map of the USA. Sometimes you get a map, sometimes you don't get a map. And then when you do get the map and you get the stats, or even when you don't get the map and you get the stats are screwed up. You've got the running backs with the receiver stats and receiving stats with the running back stats. I don't know. I saw one where again it was a fantasy draft, so don't get this too seriously. But you had one thing where I think you saw you had Christian McCaffrey with you know, 3 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown, and then you had like Jamar Chase with you know 14 attempts for 36 yards. Really? Jamar Chase had 14 attempts. Really? Come on now. This was ridiculous. There's no reason for that should be. And they got some other small things too. I don't know if they meant to do it or if it's again it's just them not seeing the stuff. But in the middle of the game, they'll bring up the stats at the bottom, and sometimes it's singular. Even though the number will be plural. You bring up there, and they'll say Jamar Chase 5 catch. That's 5 catches, 5 catch. Michael Parsons 3 sack. Not 3 stacks, 3 stack. Things that could just be easily done if they would fucking, take time and trying to make it the actual game instead of worrying about fucking muck. Instead of worrying about fucking muck. Instead of worrying about fucking, superstar to glory, whatever the fuck it's called. Stop fucking with that. Worry about the gameplay. Worry about franchise mode. People are still gonna play muck and other shit and you get the microtransactions. But for those of us who don't want to do franchises and things like that, and they want an enjoyable gameplay and things like that, do that. I mean, how many times do I have to put on there that put say this in a video, say this on the EA message board. The snow sucks. You just can't get the snow right. Why is it snowing, but it's not accumulating? It accumulated before the game, and then when you play the game, the snow goes away. It doesn't cover back. It doesn't cover the ground back. It doesn't fill in the spots where your bodies and your footprints are. It just goes away. And if you wanted to call that light snow, because they have light rain and heavy rain, if you want to call that light snow, I'd be okay with it. That would make sense. Didn't make heavy snow where that happens, where it covers the field. The snow covers the field and it continues to cover the field. Maybe even do something where in between quarters you see the people coming out on the field with the snow blowers blowing the snow, that's accumulated on the yard line. Like, come on. Why are we just like when we create a stadium in franchise mode? Why are we just automatically giving it, field turf? Again, field turf is going to be gone within the next 5 years, more than likely. It's going to be gone, and it's going to be grass. Most of the stadiums are going to be grass in some form of fashion. Why can't you able to build a stadium and choose that? And that's one of the things. That's one of the things that was kind of interesting when you decide to build a new stadium in franchise mode, it just happens that year. That year, the new stadium happens that year. It does. There's no waiting on construction. There's no anything like that. The new stadium just happens that year. I'm more likely. If I had to choose one, I think I would probably want it to be like the old way where it was instructions. And I even think that if you build a new stadium, it should be like how it is in the NFL, where you talk about a stadium, and then the new stadium comes in, it comes in, 2 to 3 years. That's when the new stadium comes. It doesn't come the next year, but it is what it is. I was really, like I said at the beginning, I was really thinking that this was going to be this and everything. It wasn't going to be, you know, same old shit, different game. But that's what it kind of turned out to be. It really did kind of turn out to be that. And it's disappointing. Now, the real crazy thing is that does that mean that that I'm not gonna buy Madden in about 26 next year? No, I'm gonna get a hype for it. I'm gonna hope that there are things on there the changes that I like to see on there and things like that. And I hope that when by launch the game isn't as buggy as it is. The game is uh, you know you know is a lot more complete. Things like that. Things that everything. That's just how I am. Because I like playing football. Because once again, Madden is and has always been a fun game to play. It just is. It's a fun game. It always has been a fun game to play, especially for me doing franchise mode, everything like that. It's always been a fun game to play. It is now, and I think it will be. They're just things that they need to do to they can make it an even better game. I have no I have no qualms about about them about them bringing the same game over and over and over. I have no qualms about that. If the game is perfect or near perfect, you know, Major League Baseball is I think the closest to to um to the thing where the gameplay, the stuff that goes with it, the stats and all the other things like that, it's it's the closest of the sports games to where, yeah, it just only thing you do is just add the things, change a couple of things here and there, but otherwise the game is the same game as from the year before. It's still fun to play and things like that. NBA 2K has a little bit of that as well. And the only things we really talking about is that it needs the and I also think to a point that when it does come to a point to where you get the game almost as perfect as you can, at some point it shouldn't be just about you know bringing a game every year. What it should be about is you make the game, and then every year you make a download, an upgrade, or something like that that you can get from the PlayStation Store, so that you can update the like the season things and like that. So that you can have like a new season in that, so that it's called so that it's focuses on the 2025 season instead of the 2024 season or whatever, right? And and you do that each and every year, something like that. And where maybe you wouldn't make a game each year, maybe you would make a game every 3 to 4 years. Every 3 to 4 years you'd make another, Madden, you make another college football, make another NBA 2K, make another um MLB, make another WWE game. You know, if you can get the game to as close to perfect as it can be. That would be the ideal situation. I think for not only consumers but for the people who create the game. But you know, I don't know. I don't know if they'll give up those microtransactions each and every year. Which, by the way, you still can have, but it's just you get the game as perfect as you can be, and that's disappointing because, again, like I said, I think it's a fun game to play, but unlike college football, which I gave a very high rating, because I hadn't played a college football game in a long time, and I liked what I saw as I've played Madden each and every year, and things are just it just stays the same old shit. Even though the game is fun, I can't continue to give I can't give this a high rating. You know, I don't want to give it like a low rating because I would tell people to play this game. Get the game, play the game, deal with the shit because it's a fun game to play. Whether you like to do head to head, whether you like to do things like that. I know a lot of people said that they were going to play college football and not fuck with Madden, and I was just saying they really should give it a chance, but most of those people turned out to be right. So my rating is I'm going to give it 3 stars. I'm going to give it 3 stars, and because again it's a fun game, but it's there's a lot of other stuff that needs to be done to this game. The new additions are great, but they need to they need to just make the damn game better. Listen to us. Listen to us. It's disappointing. All right, y'all. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. If you've gotten the game, if you've played the game, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section about the game. Were you hoping for Man 25 would be like a different game? In some sort of fashion, it'd be a better game. Was you hyped for it and you kind of been disappointed at it, even though it's still fun to play? Are you okay with the game? Are you like it is what it is? It's Madden. It's a game. I just people like that as well, and I can understand that. Or are you listening to this, watching this, and saying, "I told y'all, I told y'all." Let me know down in the comments section. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, hold on, what is it? Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back in a couple of weeks with a review of NBA 2K25. So, we'll have that. So, as always, y'all, be good to each other. Be careful out there. And I am out.